The government has announced plans to cut carbon emissions at its international airports by 10% by 2030, while expanding the use of sustainable aviation fuel.
정부가 오는 2030년까지 국제선 항공편의 탄소 배출량을 전망치보다 10% 줄이는 한편 지속 가능 항공유 (Sustainable Aviation Fuel) 사용은 확대한다는 계획을 발표했습니다.
Yeah, so this is part of a new blueprint, a 5-year blueprint announced by the government because right now airports in Korea emit about 23 million tons of carbon emissions, and that's projected to increase by almost 30% by the year 2030 to nearly 30
projected
million.
to increase.
Yes, so what the goal is to reduce the projected amount by 10%. So just under 3 million tons of carbon emissions, and the report is saying that there's 3 ways to get to this. The first by using sustainable aviation fuel, which I'll get to in a moment.
Yep.
Shorter standby times during takeoff and landing, so more operational efficiency, and improved efficiency in airport operations. So they plan to do that. Now, the main way is through this so-called SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel, which is sort of a new, a low-carbon jet fuel used from renewable sources. Things like used cooking oil, agricultural waste. So it's much more environmentally friendly than just, regular jet fuel.
But I guess we're not at that stage where all aeroplanes can switch to this one.
No, it's a matter of actual supply, actually, because getting this much this sustainable aviation fuel is sort of a new technology. So currently, supply is limited, and so major investments need to be made to sort of scale up production of it.
It's interesting. So I guess. The usage of not usage of carbon emissions, but carbon emissions itself, it's inevitable that will go up. However, the government and environment groups, they're trying to make sure that it doesn't go up too much.
Right. Because there's a couple of ways to sort of cut carbon emissions. You have a way to cut usage, but also kind of offsetting your carbon emissions by leaving a sort of a smaller footprint, as they call it, right?
그래요. 공항에서 앞으로 계속 탄소가 배출이 될 것으로 전망이 되고 이거는 불가피한 겁니다. 그렇지만 이제 탄소 배출량을 최대한 줄이겠다. 제한하는 건 아니지만, 그래서 기존에 전망됐던 것은 23 million tons에서 28 million tons로 늘어날 것이다. 그러니까 한 500만 톤 이상이 2030년까지 늘 것으로 전망이 됐었지만. 이 늘어나는 양을 좀 줄이겠다는 거죠. 늘기는 늘 텐데.
Exactly. So the pace of growth they're trying to reduce, right?
Okay.
Or what they're trying to do is they're trying to cut it, as they say, right? To cut carbon emissions.
Tell us about that.
Right. So when you cut carbon emissions, you're reducing it. The amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases that are released or emitted, right, into the atmosphere.
Cut is used a lot in business news, and it seems like such a simple word that maybe, for learners of English, they might think, I don't think you should use this in the news, but actually it's used a lot
Yeah, absolutely.
in the news. Yeah.
Anytime you reduce or decrease
맞아요. 네.
something like weight, you can cut weight, right?
네, 이게 cut가 자르다도 되겠지만 이렇게 줄인다라는 뜻으로 정말 많이 쓰고요. What about sustainable?
Yeah, this is a hot word you hear a lot in the news, right? If something's sustainable, it can be maintained over a long period of time. So in an environmental context, if something is sustainable, it's less harmful to the environment.
지속 가능하다. I remember when this term first came out decades ago, people were talking about sustainable environment and sustainable plans and things like that. We had to get used to using this word because we hadn't before, but now it's just commonplace.
Exactly.
Yeah. 지속 가능하다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The government has announced plans to cut carbon emissions at its international airports by 10% by 2030, while expanding the use of sustainable aviation fuel. And of course, aviation refers to anything to do with flying.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the second headline.
Korea is set to require all domestic mobile carriers and virtual network operators to use facial recognition as an additional identity check when issuing new mobile phone numbers as part of efforts to curb scams involving illegally registered handsets.
정부는 명의도용 및 대포폰 범죄에 대응하기 위해 앞으로 국내 통신 3사와 알뜰폰 사업자가 휴대전화를 개통할 때 사용자 안면 인증 절차를 추가하도록 할 방침입니다.
Yeah, so this isn't going into effect immediately. It's going into a trial program starting this week.
Okay.
It'll be officially be implemented in March of next year, so very soon. But
Okay.
like the headline suggests, it's because there are these voice phishing scams that don't seem to be going away anywhere. So they're making penalties tougher for mobile carriers, the companies that offer these services. The onus is on them to try and prevent these crimes at the initial stage when they registered their phones. So by comparing the photo on an ID card, right, for example, with the holder's actual face on a real-time basis, the hope is that they can prevent the activation of phones that are registered under a false name or
Right.
stolen ID. Right?
When you say it's the onus is on them, what are you saying?
The burden is on the companies to try and prevent these crimes. The responsibility is on
Yeah,
them. Yes.
그렇죠. The telecom companies.
Yes.
그래요. 이렇게 통신사와 알트폰 사업자들이 이제 앞으로는 휴대폰을 개통하게 될 때 안면 인식 절차까지 추가를 해서 최대한 이런 이제 명의 도용 범죄를 줄이고자 하는 모습입니다. 현재는 이제 시범적으로 운영이 되고 내년 3월부터는 본격적으로 시행이 된다고 합니다. Let's have a look at identity checks.
Yeah, so ID checks or identity checks it's the process of trying to verify someone's
Yeah.
identity, right? By either using you can use your 주민등록증 or
Yeah.
your driver's license,
And
passport.
주민등록증 in English would probably just be ID card.
ID card.
I think
It's a little
so.
different because it doesn't translate directly because
Yeah.
in the US there's no such thing as there's no federal ID card. There is a state ID card that you can use for identification, but
Yeah.
I think a
Registration.
resident registration card,
아,
right?
그렇죠. 예. 그래서 주민등록증을 뭐 그대로 번역하면은 resident registration card인데요. 이것도 일종의 다 이제 신분증이니까
Right.
ID card라고 볼 수 있겠죠.
Exactly. And you can use this as a verb too. If you're trying to get into an establishment where you have to be a certain age,
Yeah.
you'll get ID'd,
Yes.
identified using your identification.
맞아요. 예, 선생님 또 ID도 됐던 때가 기억나시나요?
Long time ago. Yes.
그래서 이제 그 19세 정도가 됐을 때 이제 성인인지 아닌지 입증을 하기 위해서 신분증 보여주세요. 그럼 I got ID'd. 그래서
Yes.
ID'd 때가 됐다.
Yes.
나한테 신분증 보여달라 그랬어. 이러는 일이 있고요. 그다음에 이제 사실 동양 분들 우리는 다 좀 동안이잖아요. 그래서 아마 외국 나가시면은 19세 훨씬 넘었는데도 이런 아이디 보여달라는 영업점이 있을 수 있어요. 그러면 너무 기분이 좋거든요.
Yeah.
저도 한 30살 정도였을 땐가 미국에서 성인인지 아닌지
You got
확인해달라.
ID.
30 중반이었나 뭐 그랬던
Yeah.
것 같아요. 한 10년 전쯤에. 그래서 그거 아이디를 보여달라 그래서 why? 그래서 you need to prove that you're over 19 or something.
Right.
막 그래서 내가 I'm 35.
Yeah.
그랬더니 prove it. 그래서 제가 막 여권을 꺼내서 이렇게 보여주니까 wow, okay.
Yeah.
이랬던 기억이 나요.
Well, I'm curious what you were buying,
Yeah.
Sue, but that might be for another day. But
아니 그게 뭐냐면 약국에서 약을 그냥
Yes.
over the counter 약이었거든요. OTC. 그냥 뭐 두통약인가 뭐 그런 거였는데
Yeah.
그것도 필요하더라고요.
yes, because they can be abused.
그래서
Yes.
그렇구나. 그래서
Yeah.
제가 나 머리 아파서 약 좀 사냐 그러는데 그래가지고 이거 확인해서 제가 이제 약사분한테
Absolutely.
thank you so
Yeah.
much. Have a nice day.
No.
You're such a lovely person. 이러면서 아주 기분이 좋았던 기억이 납니다.
These days, I wish I was ID'd more often, but no.
Okay, moving on.
In any case.
네, illegally registered handsets.
Yeah, so if we break this down, if something's illegal, that means it's against the law. And if it's registered, that means it's in some sort of database. So an illegally registered handset is a smartphone, right? We're talking about handset, smartphone, or other mobile devices that have been registered using false information, right? Or stolen identity.
Yeah, anything that's illegal is
Yes.
불법. 불법적으로 뭘 한 거죠? Registered, 등록된 handset라는 거는 손 안에 들어오는 기기인데요. 여기서는 휴대폰을 말합니다.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note here as well. 알뜰폰, you hear a lot in
Oh,
Korean
yeah.
news,
What's
but
that in English?
I think in English it's technically it's a mobile virtual network operator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know
That's
it's a
very
mouthful,
difficult.
but
Yeah.
it's basically these companies that don't own the actual, the communication towers or the satellites, but they borrow it,
Okay.
and that's why it's they're more of a virtual
Virtual
operator.
network operator.
Yes, or mobile virtual network operator.
mobile virtual network operator.
Yes.
와, 그래요. 알뜰폰 사업자를 이렇게 부른다고 하는데요. 이게 좀 길죠. 그래서 영어로 조금 전에 선생님이 It's a mouthful 이라고 합니다. 입에 가득 찬다라는 표현을 우리가 문장이 길 때 많이 쓰죠. Alright, well here's the headline again. Korea is set to require all domestic mobile carriers and virtual network operators to use facial recognition as an additional identity check when issuing new mobile phone numbers as part of efforts to curb scams involving illegally registered handsets.
The Arctic has endured its hottest year on record, with shrinking sea ice underscoring a shift toward rainier, less ice-covered conditions driven by climate change, according to U.S. scientists.
올해 북극 지역이 관측 이래 가장 따뜻한 해를 기록했다고 미국 해양대기청 NOAA가 발표한 가운데 최근 북극에서는 눈 대신 비가 내리고 오래된 얼음층이 줄어드는 등의 기후변화 양상이 급감하는 해빙 면적을 통해 더욱 극명하게 드러났다는 소식입니다.
Yeah, when we talk about the Arctic, we're talking about, of course, the
North Pole.
Pole area, right? But
Yep.
according to this data from the U.S., the last 10 years have been the 10 warmest on record, dating back more than a century, 125 years of record keeping. So, if you don't believe that the Earth, or at least the Arctic region, is getting warmer, here's your evidence, right? Because the Arctic is actually heating up as much as 4 times as quickly as the global average right now, and it's important because the Arctic is known as the world's refrigerator. Meaning that it's a region that acts as a key sort of climate regulator for the rest of the planet. So it's not good news for the planet Earth.
Over the weekend, I actually watched a movie on one of those streaming sites, and it was a dystopian movie about, I think, the North Pole or maybe the South Pole sort of melting, and then all these different countries being flooded. And it was just so scary. But when you watch the movie, you think, this is never going to happen. And then you read stories like this and you go, I hope it really never happens.
Right. But because as they say, art imitates life.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, indeed.
Hopefully not. Knock on wood.
So the North Pole is the Arctic. The
Yes.
South Pole is
The Antarctic.
Antarctic.
Right. And the Antarctic is actually considered a landmass, right? Where the Arctic, I believe, is ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's frozen.
Alright. 자, 그래요. 지금 북극 지역이 너무나 비정상적으로 따뜻한 상황입니다. 그러면 안 되는데. The Arctic has endured its hottest year so far.
Yeah, so there's a little personifying of the Arctic, saying that to endure meaning it's suffering through something, right? It's sort of withstanding some sort
Yeah.
of difficulty here. So in this case, of course, rising temperatures.
personify, 의인화했어요. 북극이 지금까지 가장 더운 해를 견뎌냈다. to endure라는 표현을 썼죠. 참다. What about underscoring something?
Yeah, to underscore meaning to emphasize. You're stressing the importance of something by
Yeah.
underscoring it, right? So, the data can underscore how deeply, the crisis has affected workers, for example.
Exactly. To underscore something means to stress, 강조하다라는 뜻으로 보면 되겠습니다. 원래 이제 밑줄 치는 거니까요. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼까요? The Arctic has endured its hottest year on record with shrinking sea ice, underscoring a shift toward rainier, less ice-covered conditions driven by climate change, according to US scientists. Let's move on to the next headline.
The North American Aerospace Defense Command, which has tracked Santa Claus's location every Christmas since 1955, is set to introduce for the first time a website-based phone connection feature for users outside the United States, including Korea, allowing children to check Santa's real-time whereabouts by phone.
1955년부터 매년 크리스마스에 산타클로스 위치 추적 서비스를 제공해온 북미 항공우주방위사령부 NORAD가 올해부터는 한국처럼 미국 외지역에 거주하는 이용자들도 홈페이지를 통해 산타클로스의 위치를 문의할 수 있는 전화 연결 기능을 도입해 전 세계 어린이들이 전화로 산타의 위치를 실시간으로 확인할 수 있도록 한다는 방침입니다. Okay, this is really interesting.
Yeah,
this
this is
Christmas
fun.
is right around the corner.
Yeah, it is definitely. And every Christmas we see this Santa tracker that's operated by NORAD. NORAD obviously is a very important military organization that's run by both Canada and the United States. I think it's located in Colorado.
Okay.
But any sort of defense I remember during 9/11, NORAD is alerted first about sort of the airspace and they control what's happening there. But
Right.
with the year end, it's something a little more lighter, right?
Yeah.
For the children especially, is they operate this website called Santa Tracker, and it technically tracks Santa as Santa makes his way around the world
Yeah.
delivering gifts to children, and you can
So you
actually go to the website
You can check where Santa Claus is in real time.
in real time.
실시간으로.
Yes.
It says you can do it by phone. Is this a hotline?
So there is a hotline. I think in the past there was an actual physical hotline, but now you can call through the website. There's a phone line. And I think
okay.
there are thousands of operators that operate during the holiday season for children who actually call in to ask where Santa is, which is very wholesome, very cute. You know, we all remember when Santa was real.
What are you talking about?
Is real.
Santa is still real.
Yes.
Yes. Not past
No.
tense. Current, present. What am I talking about? Anyway, yes.
But what they're doing is they're actually offering this service not just in English but to other countries as well.
Yeah.
So there's a phone number you can call if you're outside of the U.S., but also in 9 different languages, including Korean.
So last year, on Christmas Eve, according to NORAD, Santa stayed on the Korean peninsula for about 3 minutes and 45 seconds. He delivered 20 million gifts to Korean children.
Yes.
네, 노라드 자료에 따르면은요, 작년 같은 경우에는 크리스마스 이브 날 산타 할아버지가 한반도에 3분 45초 동안 머물렀고요. 한 2천만 개의 선물을 배달했다고 합니다. 올해는 또 어떨지 이 노라드 홈페이지를 통해서 문의도 할 수 있고 실시간으로 체크도 할 수 있다고 하니까요. 아, 너무 좋은 서비스네요.
Yeah, the way this actually started was by accident when
Really?
a child actually called the wrong number that was posted in a newspaper ad. And so this is back in 1955. So it's been going on ever since now. So this year is the 70th anniversary.
So a kid called NORAD.
Yeah, well, it was called, it was a different organization back then,
okay, I
but
see.
it was a wrong phone number that was called. And the child called asking, where's Santa now? And
너무 재밌-
that became their service, yes.
방위부의 전화번호가 좀 심플한 번호였나 보죠. 1955년도에 실수로 한 어린이가 산타가 지금 어디에 있는지 너무 궁금해서 전화를 했는데 그 전화가 하필이면은 이 방위부였나 봐요. 그래서 거기서 아이에게 친절하게 응대를 해주고 그때부터는 이제 본격적으로 이제 아이들에게
Yeah.
산타의 위치를 알려주는 서비스가 시작돼서 그래서 55년부터 했다는 거군요.
Yeah.
와, 저 좋은 실수였네요.
Yes.
Track 보겠습니다. Track someone's location.
Yeah, when you track somebody, you're monitoring them, right? Or you're following them, usually in real time. These days with GPS, mobile phones, of
Yeah.
course, you can do that. Now, when you trace someone, tracing someone is slightly different.
Yes.
I think the biggest difference is that tracing someone is kind of that person has already finished their voyage, I guess, and you're reconstructing it.
We use this a lot during COVID.
Tracing, contact tracing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're looking back in time.
Right.
To see where they got COVID, or it doesn't have to be COVID, but 이 추적이라는 의미로 tracing을 우리가 팬데믹 기간에 많이 썼었죠. 그러니까 이제 그동안 어디를 갔었는지 뭐 이런 추적, 약간의 과거의
Yes.
추적일 때는 tracing을 많이 쓰고요. tracking은 지금 현재 어디 있는지를 위치 추적하는 느낌이 좀 더 강한 것 같아요. 과거보다. 그래서 위치를 추적하다. Track someone's location.
Yes. So this NORAD service is called NORAD Tracks Santa.
아, 그래요.
Yes.
NORAD tracks Santa? 이거 검색하면은 찾을 수 있는 건가요?
Yes.
Okay.
Or NORAD Santa Tracker.
오케이. 자, 여러분 아셨죠? NORAD가 North America 네, 뭐의 약자죠?
Aerospace Defense
Thank you,
Command.
thank you. 그래요. 네, 그래요. 우리말로 하자면은 이제 북미 항공 우주 방위 사령부가 되겠습니다. 네, NORAD 산타 이렇게만 검색해도 나올 것 같아요. 그래서 우리 어린이들에게 요거 산타 같이 위치 찾아보시면은 또 좋은 추억이 될 것 같습니다. 듣고 계신 많은 부모님들, 삼촌, 이모, 고모 다 한번 보시고요. 자, 그다음에 whereabouts.
Yeah, whereabouts, one word, and it's always plural, I believe. It's rarely used in the singular.
True.
Whereabouts, it's
Yeah.
sort of the general place or location where
Yeah.
someone is, especially when that exact location is unknown.
Yeah.
Right?
If you want to know the whereabouts of Santa, then go and check this website. But I guess it's going to be on Christmas Eve. So right now he's very busy wrapping
Yes.
up all the presents. I don't think he's traveling right now because he does it in one day, doesn't it?
I think that's the
Yeah,
whole,
yeah.
that's the beauty of it.
그래요,
right?
그래요.
It's very fast.
자, 다시 한번 그럼 읽어보겠습니다. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, which has tracked Santa Claus's location every Christmas since 1955, is set to introduce for the first time a website-based phone connection feature for users outside the US, including Korea, allowing children to check Santa's real-time whereabouts by phone. Now here's our final headline.
A Boeing 747 cargo plane was forced to dump between 90 and 100 tons of kerosene over several populated towns in Belgium before making an emergency landing at the airport following a malfunction in its landing gear.
벨기에에서 보잉 747 화물기가 착륙장치 고장 때문에 공항에 비상 착륙하는 과정에서 벨기에 교외의 몇몇 인구 밀집 지역에 최대 100톤의 항공유를 배출하는 일이 발생했습니다. Now, it is common for normal planes to dump fuel in the sky, but not above residential areas.
Right, not populated areas. Usually you see that over bodies of water.
Yes.
They'll do it. But
Yep.
what airline authorities are saying is that this maneuver of what they call jettisoning fuel, right? If you
Jettisoning.
jettison, right?
Yep.
If you're dumping fuel, it's strictly regulated and the majority of the fuel actually disperses and vaporizes.
Right. So you're not going to actually feel it pouring down or anything because
No.
it does evaporate.
They say the impact on humans is actually very minimal, but of course, it still raises concerns. No one wants to be rained down on with kerosene or kerosene vapors. So experts believe the immediate health consequences are minimal, but it's sort of reignited this debate about the environmental impact of air traffic in general.
네, 그래요. 이렇게 원래도 물론 항공기들이 필요에 따라서는 항공유를 배출하죠. 이거를 jettison 하는 것이라고 표현을 하는군요. Jettison인가요?
Double T.
Jettison?
S-O-N.
S-O-N.
Yes.
그래요.
Jettison.
Jettison with an O at the end. jettisoning 한다. 항공유를 배출하는 것인데 자, 이번 경우에는 좀 비상 상황이어서 인구 밀집 지역 상공에 이렇게 항공유를 배출했습니다. 물론 이 항공유가 증발을 해버린대요. 공기 중에. 그러니까 이렇게 뭐 항공유 비가 내린다든지 이런 상황은 아니긴
Right.
하지만 그래도 공기 중에 이게 있으니까 살짝의 우려가 될 수가 있으나 전문가들은 큰 피해는 없을 것이다. 이렇게 얘기를 해요. Alright, so you said jettisoning means to dump fuel.
Yeah, when you dump something, you're sort of you're throwing it away.
Yeah.
Right, like a dump truck.
Yes.
You're getting rid of it, sort of in large amounts. So, what is this? Dumping fuel.
Yeah. What about if I said, oh, my boyfriend dumped me?
Oh, that means they got rid of you.
That means we broke up. But it's
Right.
not just, we agreed to break up.
Right.
They said, I'm
The
breaking up
boyfriend
with...
dumping you means you got dumped, meaning you got 차였다.
그렇죠.
Yes.
자, 남녀 관계에서는 dumping이라는 거는 이렇게 차다, 차였다 이런 의미로 쓰는데 자, 보통은 버리다라는 뜻으로 씁니다.
Yeah, in business economics, you hear about anti-dumping
Oh, yes.
duties,
Anti-dumping
which
laws,
where
yeah.
companies, or not companies, countries will export goods at very low prices, right?
반덤핑.
Yeah.
네, 그렇습니다. 자, 그래서 너무 굉장히 저렴한 가격에 이렇게 덤핑을 한다라고 하기도 하죠. 그것도 다 같은 말이에요. 이 덤프라는 게 원래는 버리다라는 뜻에서 오는 거니까. 자, 다음으로 malfunction.
Yeah, a malfunction is a failure to operate, right? So it does not function. Mal
Right.
means sad in
Yeah.
in French, right?
Right.
It's not functioning.
So it's a negative meaning. It doesn't always mean sad. It
Right.
can mean bad, ill-intentioned. Malnutrition means you don't have enough nutrition.
Very good.
But here malfunctioning means you're not functioning properly.
Right.
그래요. mal 이로 들어가면 부정적인 의미가 되죠.
Right.
그래서
Usually with machines or systems, but if you say humorously, my brain's malfunctioning, that means my brain's not working right now.
맞아요. 오작동 중이야. 뇌가 지금 제대로 작동을 안 해. My brain is malfunctioning.
Yes.
이렇게 표현할 수 있죠. 유머러스하게. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A Boeing 747 cargo plane was forced to dump between 90 and 100 tons of kerosene over several populated towns in Belgium before making an emergency landing at the airport following a malfunction in its landing gear. Well, that's it for the headlines with Shane.
The Korea Electric Power Corporation has decided to freeze electricity prices for the first quarter of next year by keeping the adjusted unit fuel cost, a key factor in determining electricity rates, at the current 5 won per kilowatt hour from January to March.
한국전력공사가 전기요금을 결정하는 핵심 요소인 연료비 조정 단가를 내년 1분기 3개월 동안 이전과 동일하게 킬로와트 시당 5원으로 유지한다고 밝혔습니다. Tell us more.
Yes, so it means our bills won't be going up in terms of the rates, at least, and that's because of the government. KEPCO, who supplies us with electricity, has said the government instructed it to keep the rate unchanged for the first quarter, and that's all to do with the company's financial condition and also how there's been so many charges accumulated in recent years when it comes to unadjusted fuel costs.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in what it is, basically, our electricity rates are the basic fuel cost plus climate change and environmental fee, and then our fuel cost adjustment rate. That's how we get it. And, well, it won't be going up this quarter. We'll have to see what happens in quarter number 2.
It sounds like it's moving towards a smooth transition into 2026.
One hopes so. We'll have to see. But according to the next news headline, people in San Francisco are worried about their electricity. Hopefully we won't be.
네. 전기요금 하면은 사실 그 구성 요소들이 여러 개 있는데요. 그 핵심 요소가 바로 연료비 조정 단가라고 합니다. 그게 그대로 지금과 동일하게 내년 1분기에 유지가 된다는 소식이에요. Let's have a look at the expression adjusted.
Yes, if something is adjusted, it has been slightly changed. It has been slightly manipulated in some way to make it better. Usually when we're adjusting something, we're trying to improve it in some way.
조정한다는 뜻으로 adjust라고 하죠. How do you spell adjust?
ADJUST.
And if you say at the current rate or at the current price.
Yes, at the current speed, whatever it may be, it means if the thing continues at that rate, speed, price, whatever the number is, then whatever will happen. It's a way of saying if this continues, then we'll be in this situation.
그렇죠. 뒤에다가 단어 하나 붙여가지고 at the current something 하면은 현재의 뭐뭐 수준에서, 즉 이제 현재 가격 수준에서 현재의 상태에서 내지는 뭐 현재 이 속도대로라면 뒤에 단어가 여러 가지 붙을 수 있습니다. At the current something. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. The Korea Electric Power Corporation has decided to freeze electricity prices for the first quarter of next year by keeping the adjusted unit fuel cost, a key factor in determining electricity rates, at the current 5 won per kilowatt hour from January to March. Let's move on to the next headline.
Power has been restored to most of the city of San Francisco in the US after a massive outage left more than 130,000 homes and businesses in the dark and brought vital transportation, including self-driving cars, to a grinding halt.
대규모 정전 사태가 있었던 미국 샌프란시스코에서 현재 전력이 대부분 복구됐다는 소식입니다. 이번 정전으로 시내에서는 13만 가구 이상의 일반 가정 및 상업시설이 암흑 상태에 놓이고 자율주행 차량을 포함한 주요 대중교통수단들이 운행 중단됐던 것으로 알려졌습니다.
It was a very big deal. It happened in the middle of the day, 1 p.m. on Saturday, and let's say that's one of the busiest Saturdays of the year, the Saturday before Christmas. Lots of people wanting to drive, shop, etc., etc. And it was a big outage. A lot of the northern part of San Francisco was without power. That continued to grow. Something like 1/3 of the customers in the city for the utility company that had this problem had no power for a while. Still, as of noon Sunday local time, there were 17,000 customers who still had no power. And it was very disruptive. There were significant transit disruptions, according to the San Francisco Department of Emergency Management. And they were saying, please don't travel if you don't have to. Please watch out. Please be careful. And hopefully everybody's okay, but certainly it's not something you want to happen on the Saturday before Christmas.
샌프란시스코 현지 시간으로 토요일 오후 1시부터 뭐 대략 어떤 경우에는 하루 뭐 그거보다 짧을 수도 있고 조금 더 길 수도 있는데요. 대략 그 정도 동안 정전 사태가 이어졌었군요. 근데 마침 또 크리스마스 바로 코앞에 주말이면은 원래 쇼핑하러 나온 사람들이 상당히 많을 그런 주말이기 때문에 그래서 더욱더 이 정전 사태에 대한 피해를 본 사람들이 많이 있는 것 같습니다. A lot of people were left in the dark.
Yes, here it means they were literally left in the dark, meaning they had no light. They
Yeah.
had no power. So if the power was still out by the time the sun set, they would have to cope with just being darkness.
Is
They
there
would be-
another meaning though?
Yes. Didn't you know? You don't know the meaning of it.
No, I
Were
don't.
you left in the dark
You-
when it comes
you've
to this
left me
English
in the
expression?
dark.
Yes, because to be left in the dark means you don't know what it is. It's like you have a blindfold on. You
Yeah.
can't see what's happening, or you can't hear what's happening. You have no idea.
And it's normally for something that everyone else knows or some other people know, but you don't. So for example, I might say, hey, are you going to the party tonight?
What party? Have I been left in the dark again?
Yes, sorry. I think someone forgot to tell you.
PD Nim, am I not invited?
So
Oh,
in
dear.
this case, if you didn't know something, you would say, oh, I was left in the dark.
Yeah, or if your friend's having problems, you might say, come on, Sue, talk to me. Don't leave me in the dark. I can help, maybe.
That's another good usage of that expression as well. 좀 비유적으로도 많이 쓰는 표현이죠. The last example you gave just there means
Yeah.
let me know what it is.
Exactly.
Don't leave me in the dark.
It's all about information and knowledge and not having it.
그렇군요. 무슨 일인지 좀 알려줘. Don't leave me in the dark도 되고 나만 모르고 있었나 봐. I was left in the dark.
네.
그런데 이제 보다 더 literal한 말 그대로의 의미가 지금 헤드라인에서 쓰인 건데요. 사람들이 어둠 속에 있었다. 즉, 이 정전 피해를 봤다. 이렇게 볼 수 있겠죠. 불이 꺼진 상태로 있었던 거니까. 이 leave, be left 이런 표현은요. 이런 상태로 놓여지다가 되겠습니다. Now, what about vital?
Oh, if something is vital, it is necessary. We have to have it. Without it, well, we won't be able to function, or we won't be able to live, or we just won't be able to carry on normally. So, for example, in this case, there was vital transportation that ground to a halt.
Yeah.
People need self-driving cars, public transport, they need traffic lights. These are all vital services.
필수적인 vital이라고 하죠. 그래서 필수적인 교통수단, 뭐 버스라든지 이런 것들도 다 운행을 할 수가 없어서 많은 차질이 빚어졌습니다. Another expression I'd like to look at, although we normally only look at two,
Okay.
is to bring something to a grinding halt.
Okay, well, first of all, we have to think of the sound of grinding. If you've ever ground coffee beans, for example, you know what that sounds like. It's metal
What
on
does it sound
metal.
like? Okay.
Does it not sound like that?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So it's something that's quite ugly. It's not a nice sound. And it's also, in this case, the sound of metal brakes being put on. So that sound of something trying to stop very quickly and very harshly. So you
Yeah.
have a really ugly sound. And if something is brought to a grinding halt, it means something is stopped completely and suddenly.
그렇죠. grinding 한다는 것은 원래 갈다라는 의미가 있어서 커피 가는 소리를 좀 전에 내주셨는데요. 커피 원두 가는 소리.
네.
근데 이제 차량이라든지 기계가 이 기계 음이 날 정도로 멈춘다는 것은 사실 그렇게 정상적인 것은 아니잖아요. 그래서 I guess what was brought to a grinding halt here? A business,
Yes.
businesses and homes and everything, transportation, all of these 필수적으로 우리가 활용해야 되는 것들, 교통수단, 그 다음에 이제 영업장들, 집, 가정집도 모두 다 그냥 멈춰버린 상태였다라는 것을 이렇게 표현하고 있는 거예요.
Yeah.
Everything in San Francisco came to a grinding halt. So it's not a normal stoppage.
No, it's unexpected
Yeah.
and it's problematic.
It is problematic.
You think of
yeah.
that ugly sound means it's an ugly accident of some kind.
그래요. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Power has been restored to most of the city of San Francisco in the US after a massive outage left more than 130,000 homes and businesses in the dark and brought vital transportation, including self-driving cars, to a grinding halt.
Researchers at the World Institute of Kimchi find that Korea's most celebrated dish enhances defense against pathogens while suppressing excessive immune reactions rather than indiscriminately activating the immune system.
세계 김치연구소 연구팀이 김치가 인간 면역 반응을 무작정 활성화하기보다 병원체에 대한 방어 기능은 높이면서도 과도한 면역 반응은 억제하는 면역 조절 작용을 한다는 연구 결과를 발표했습니다.
It's a very interesting small study. Only 39 people were followed over 12 weeks. They were all overweight. And they were divided into 3 groups. And what they found was that those who had eaten kimchi had stronger immune cells. So these immune cells can then recognize bacteria, viruses, anything that's dangerous to the body. Also, that group, their immune systems were better balanced, so they were able to fight infections more efficiently. It's the first time this kind of study has shown that kimchi has these positive powers, that it can boost immune protection. And so we'll see what happens, but certainly these findings, they think, could help develop health foods and also contribute to, stopping people getting sick by eating more kimchi.
I take it that these 39 people had roughly the same level of immunity to begin with.
I would think so. It's you'd have to go deep into the study.
Right?
With all
Yeah.
these medical studies, it should always be properly set out, and there are various conditions. You have your control group, for example, and things like that.
Yeah.
But yes, I think we all knew that kimchi was good for us. But it's nice to get some more info about how good it might be for us.
Exactly. 39명의 이제 피실험자를 통해서 12주 동안 김치를 이제 먹은 그룹과 또 먹지 않은 그룹의 면역 체계를 살펴봤더니 여러모로 김치를 먹은 그룹이 면역 체계가 잘 활성화됐는데요. 무작정 활성화됐다기보다는 이제 필요한 이런 면역 기능은 올라가고 또 과도한 면역 기능은 저하가 되는 적정한 수준의 면역 기능 향상이 됐다고 합니다. 굉장히 놀랍네요. Let's have a look at the most celebrated dish, or let's just look at most celebrated.
Yes, if something is most celebrated or the most celebrated, it means it is the most popular, the most respected, could be the most worshipped or revered.
Yeah.
The point is, everybody loves it and people talk a lot about it.
Can you use this for people?
Absolutely. You talk about a celebrated actor or singer. You can talk about a celebrated politician or historian. Anybody can be celebrated. But the criteria is lots of people have to, 1, know you, 2, like you, 3, be talking about you.
많은 사람들이 좋아하고 또 많은 사람들이 아는 그런 것 아니면 사람. Most celebrated person or thing.
Yeah.
So kimchi is of course one of the best known Korean dishes.
Yes.
And it's loved.
Exactly. I think the only one that might come a little close to catching up with it would be fried chicken. Korean fried chicken is also
It's very famous.
celebrated around the world.
맞아요. 자, 그다음에는 indiscriminately라는 좀 긴 표현입니다.
Yes. If we do something indiscriminately, we're not picking something in particular. We're not doing it in a particular way. We're just doing whatever. If we do something discriminately, then we're being very careful about what we do and how we do it or what we choose. So, for example, if Sue indiscriminately picked ingredients for her Christmas cake from the fridge, she might put kimchi in it.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not caring, you're not bothering to really pay attention.
무작정, 마구잡이로 무언가를 할 때 indiscriminately 한다라고 합니다. 이 discriminate라는 게 차별하다의 의미도 있지만 구별해내다의 의미도 있을 수 있고요. 이제 종종 쓰는 표현 중에 viruses don't discriminate. The cold doesn't discriminate.
Yes.
It doesn't pick and choose who it's going to go into. Anyone can get the flu or the cold or a virus. 그럴 때도 많이 쓰죠. 누구나 이런 바이러스, 감기, 독감에 걸릴 수 있다. All right, here's the headline again. Researchers at the World Institute of Kimchi find that Korea's most celebrated dish enhances defense against pathogens while suppressing excessive immune reactions rather than indiscriminately activating the immune system. Let's move on to the next headline.
Two childhood friends in India have stumbled upon a 15-carat gem-quality diamond, one of the finest natural varieties of the precious stone, with an estimated market value of around 5 to 6 million rupees, or 75 to 90 million won.
어릴 적 친구 사이인 인도 청년 2명이 자연산 다이아몬드 가운데서도 최상급 품질에 속하는 15캐럿짜리 천연 다이아몬드를 우연히 발견했습니다. 이 다이아몬드의 예상 가치는 약 500만에서 600만 루피, 우리 돈으로 약 7,500만 원에서 9천만 원 정도로 추정됩니다. Well, it looks like these two guys in their 20s have it set out for them. Their life is going to change now.
Yeah, it's like something out of a fairy tale.
Yeah, and they weren't wealthy to begin with,
No,
were
they both come from relatively poor families. They're the youngest sons, both of them. They're 24 and 23. And they'd leased this plot of land a few weeks earlier, and then they stumbled upon this diamond.
Oh,
It was
my
just
goodness.
there. So many people in India have been trying this. Generations of families have, been leasing land and then trying to mine it for precious stones. But not many people in this district strike it lucky.
Yeah.
They, on the other hand, have really struck it lucky.
15 carats.
Yes.
That's a big diamond.
And it'll feed a lot of reindeer.
What?
15 carats.
Okay, yes. Not that kind of carrot, Paul. 자, 정확하게는 15.34캐럿 되는 천연 다이아몬드를 우연히 발견한 24살의 카티크 씨, 그리고 23살의 모하메드 씨입니다. 두 친구가 어릴 적부터 친한 사이였고요. 카티크 씨는 정육점을 운영한다고 하고, 또 이제 23살의 그 모하메드 씨는 과일을 판매한다고 해요. 그런데 아마 이번 다이아몬드 발견으로 인해서 인생이 많이 바뀔 거다라고 이제 기사들에서 이렇게 쓰고 있더라고요. 앞으로 계속 이 직업을 할지 아닐지 이것도 좀 궁금합니다, 개인적으로.
Yeah, I just hope that they are wise about whatever they
yes.
invest in,
Yeah.
whatever they do, think carefully before you act.
Exactly. Now, they stumbled upon this diamond.
Yes, we had to be left in the dark the literal and the figurative expressions. It's the same here. If you stumble on something, it means you trip over it, you fall over it. If you stumble upon something, you find it, you discover it.
Yeah.
And it could be literally on the ground, or it could be in a book, or it could be an idea that you've come across in your head suddenly, accidentally. The point is, you weren't necessarily looking for it. It wasn't deliberate, just happened.
Exactly. To stumble upon something은 우연히 무언가를 발견하다. And what's a precious stone?
A diamond, an emerald, a ruby. There are lots of different gems,
Yeah.
gemstones as they're also called. A precious stone is not a piece of granite, a piece of rubble. It's a very valuable stone. One of those that can be shined up and sold in a jeweler's.
Birthstones are all precious stones.
Yes.
Do you know what yours is? I forget what mine is.
I don't know. There is so many things like your star sign and your birthstone and
And your birth flower and
I have no idea.
and your moon sign and
I
whatever.
just know they're all pretty.
Yes, that is true. 보석이죠, 보석. 우리도 말 그대로 이제 굉장히 귀중한 돌이란 뜻 아니겠어요? 그래서 영어로도 precious stone이라는 표현을 똑같이 쓴다는 거 기억해 주시면 되겠습니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Two childhood friends in India have stumbled upon a 15-carat gem-quality diamond, one of the finest natural varieties of the precious stone, with an estimated market value of around 5 to 6 million rupees, or 75 to 90 million won. Let's move on to the final headline.
High-fat cheeses such as cheddar, brie and Gouda may slightly protect the brain from dementia, according to an extensive observational study that followed nearly 28,000 people in Sweden.
스웨덴의 한 연구진이 약 2만 8천 명을 대상으로 실시한 광범위한 관찰 연구를 바탕으로 브리, 고다, 체다 등 지방 함량이 높은 치즈를 섭취했을 때 치매 발생 가능성이 상대적으로 낮게 나타났다는 결과를 공개했습니다.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. 25 years it took
That is extensive.
27,700 adults.
Wow,
Yes.
25년 동안 실시된 그런 조사였군요.
Yeah, and they found that people who were eating high-fat cheese, about 50 grams a day, and high-fat cream, about 20 grams a day, had a lower chance of developing dementia compared to those who ate little high-fat cheese or little high-fat cream. Now, that doesn't mean that high-fat dairy prevents dementia, but it does show an association. So it's not going to be cheese by itself. There are other lifestyle factors to take into account. But when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, fat was bad for you. Everybody was saying no fat. Low fat is the way to go. Well, in fact, now we're realizing that not all high fat foods are bad for your health, and a little bit of what you fancy
Yeah.
can actually be very good for you.
그래요. 자, 그러니까 25년 동안 2만 8천 명을 관찰하면서 데이터를 모으고 그다음에 분석을 한 그런 연구 결과입니다. 하루에 한 50g 정도의 이런 고지방, 고함량 지방, 뭐 치즈 이런 것들을 먹게 되면은 살짝 그렇지 않은 사람들보다 치매 발생 가능성이 낮더라라는 결과였어요. 아주 큰 결과는 아니지만 그래도 어쨌든 25년 동안 추적 관찰한 결과 나타난 그런 데이터니까 유의미하기는 할 것 같아요. But of course, scientists are very cautious when they, announce these things. That's why we've used the word slightly.
Yes, and slightly just means a little bit.
little bit,
A small amount. Yeah, so here it's slightly protecting the brain. Doesn't fully protect the brain from dementia, but maybe it's helping a little bit to protect it.
Yeah, so you can't say, oh, cheddar, brie, and Gouda prevent dementia. No, you cannot say that. But maybe slightly it might be helpful.
Yes.
아주 살짝 이런 뜻이죠. 조금. And what about observational study?
Well, if we observe something, we look at it. And an observational study is where you look at the things. In this case, you look at the people. You don't tell them what to eat. You don't tell them what to do. You just observe what they eat.
Yeah.
You go, oh, so how much cheese did you have? How much dairy did you have? They don't say, you should have this amount.
Yeah.
They just record the evidence.
관찰 연구를 observational study라고 합니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. High-fat cheeses such as cheddar, brie, and Gouda may slightly protect the brain from dementia, according to an extensive observational study that followed nearly 28,000 people in Sweden. Well, that's it for the headlines this morning with Paul Matthews.
Korea is on track to see a record number of foreign visitors this year, with the tourism ministry projecting arrivals will surpass the previous high of 17.5 million, recorded in 2019, by about 1 million.
올해 우리나라를 방문한 외래 관광객이 역대 최다를 기록할 것으로 보이는 가운데 문화체육관광부는 그 수가 지금까지 최고 기록인 2019년에 1,750만 명보다 약 100만 명 늘어날 것으로 전망했습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so basically the nation is expected to welcome a record 18.7 million overseas visitors this year, and that surpasses the previous high of 17.5 million, which was set in 2019.
Right before COVID.
That's right. And this is according to the Culture Ministry. And we kind of tend to compare figures pre-COVID, post-COVID, because that's when traveling and going to other countries kind of came to a stop.
Yeah.
So the number equals roughly one foreign arrival every 1.68 seconds. So think about that. Put your head around that for a
Oh my
second.
goodness. How many tourists have arrived in Korea since we started talking this morning?
A lot.
A lot.
Wow.
Wow.
Right. So in terms of the different countries that visited, or the people from different countries that visited, China accounted for the largest share. Of course, it's one of our closer neighbors. And they boosted, and that was boosted by travel promotions targeting women in their 20s and 30s, while arrivals from Taiwan also jumped 27% on the back of K-food and K-baseball campaigns. We know Taiwanese love baseball as probably as much as we do. Visitors from Japan are also forecast to hit a 13-year high of 3.61 million, driven by rising interest in K-beauty. And the ministry said that the surge reflects its strategy of leveraging the global popularity of K-culture to attract travelers.
Wow, this is really fascinating. So Chinese tourists, they take up the bulk of the tourists arriving in Korea, and it's mostly because of the women who are attracted to K-culture. And then Taiwan, they love Korean food and baseball.
Yeah.
And then Japan, they're also into K-beauty.
Beauty.
Ah, so interesting. Okay, so right now, we're still not at the end of 2025. We still have a few days left. But by the end of the year, we'll have reached that number.
Right.
That's the estimate.
네.
자, 그래서 지금 이대로라면은 이제 올해 말 이제 2025년이 다 끝나면은요. 우리나라를 방문한 외래 관광객이 역대 최다를 기록한 해로 2025년이 기록될 것입니다. 그렇게 전망이 되고요. 그 목표를 향해 지금 착착 나아가고 있다. We are on track to doing something.
Yep.
이런 뜻이 되겠죠. Let's also have a look at the expression project.
So it's used as a verb here, and it means to estimate or forecast something on the basis of present trends or data.
Project, 전망하다, 예측하다. When it's a noun, we say project, but when it's a verb, project. The stress is different.
Yes.
What about surpassing the previous high?
When you surpass something, it means to exceed or to be greater than something. And in this case, the previous high means the record, the highest figure that was set right before. So it means to go above the highest number or figure that was recorded previously.
Surpassing, 넘기다, 아니면은 뭐 넘어서다. The previous high. 기존의 최고치를 무언가가 떨어졌네요. 산타가 지금 여기 도착한 건 아니겠죠? 네, 한번 확인해 보도록
Maybe a
하겠습니다.
ghost.
자, 그래요. 그래서 이제 관광객 수가 올해 2019년에 굉장히 좋은 기록을 세웠었는데 그것을 넘어설 것으로 예상이 된다고 합니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Korea is on track to see a record number of foreign visitors this year, with the tourism ministry projecting arrivals will surpass the previous high of 17.5 million, recorded in 2019 by about 1 million. Let's move on to the second headline.
More than 1 million jobs were cut in the U.S. through 2025, the highest level in 5 years, with nearly 55,000 layoffs attributed to AI, according to consulting firm Challenger Gray and Christmas.
미국의 컨설팅 업체 Challenger Gray and Christmas의 자료에 따르면 올해 미국의 일자리 감축 규모가 100만 개 이상으로 5년 만에 최고 수준이며 이 중 5만 5천 개가 인공지능, 즉 AI 도입 때문인 것으로 나타났습니다. We're not talking about new jobs. We're talking about jobs that have been cut. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Tell us more.
This is really scary news. So yeah, they say that layoffs have defined the U.S. job market in 2025, with artificial intelligence cited in nearly 55,000 job cuts. And this is according to a report by this firm, Challenger Gray and Christmas. They say that the total announced layoffs reached about 1.17 million this year, which is the highest figure since the COVID-19 peak in 2020. Employers cut 153,000 jobs in October and more than 71,000 in November, with AI named as a factor in over 6,000 of those cuts. Companies facing inflation, tariffs, and cost pressures have turned to AI as a short-term efficiency tool, while an MIT study found the technology could already replace 11.7% of U.S. jobs. So major firms like Amazon, Microsoft, they've explicitly linked large layoffs to AI-driven restructuring, but some experts do caution that AI is also being used as a scapegoat for post-pandemic overhiring rather than the sole cause of job losses.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the whole picture to make any sort of conclusion about AI because it's only been a couple of years and the concern has always been AI might take over our jobs and then loads of people will be laid off. Well, it looks like there were a lot of layoffs in America. 5만 5천 명 정도가 미국에서요. 올해 한 해 동안 AI 때문에 일자리를 잃은 것으로 분석이 된다고 한 컨설팅 업체가 발표를 했습니다. 그렇지만 또 이게 전부는 아니다라고 말하는 전문가들도 있으니까요. 다양한 이런 분석을 좀 보기는 해야 될 텐데 전체적으로 봤을 때는 미국의 일자리 감축 규모가 100만 개 이상이었다라는
Yes.
소식이에요.
It's a lot.
All right, so we're looking at stats through 2025.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the end of the year, so we're
Yeah.
going to be seeing a lot of articles related to something, figures, data that has been piling up through the year. So when we
Yeah.
use the expression through something with a date, it means continuing in time towards completion of, I guess, a process or period, and we usually have the year or the month or the date at the end.
So through 2025 basically means throughout the whole year of 2025.
Yep.
네, 2025년 전체. What about layoffs?
Layoff. So it's one word, and it's basically firing a worker. So it's
Yeah.
a discharge of a worker or workers because of usually economic conditions. When economic conditions worsen, or if there's a shortage of work, you say there's been a massive layoff, a big layoff. You can also use this in the verb form, and you can say, "Oh, I've been laid off."
In that case, it's two
It's
words.
two words, yes.
그래요. 해고라는 뜻이 되겠죠. 그래서 해고됐다. I have been laid off. 두 단어. 네, 해고는 한 단어입니다. There have been many layoffs. 다시 읽어볼게요. More than 1 million jobs were cut in the US through 2025, the highest level in 5 years, with nearly 55,000 layoffs attributed to AI, according to consulting firm Challenger, Gray and Christmas.
Denmark's postal service will deliver its final letter on December 30th, ending over 400 years of tradition amid the country's increasing digitalization and a more than 90% drop in letter sending over the past 25 years.
덴마크가 오는 12월 30일에 400년 동안 이어온 편지 배달 서비스를 종료합니다. 이는 사회 전반의 디지털화 현상이 심화되고 지난 25년 동안 자국 내 편지 발송량이 90% 이상 급감한 데 따른 결정으로 알려졌습니다. Okay, so no more of the traditional postal service in Denmark after December 30th.
That's right. So they say that Denmark's postal service began in 1624. So this ends, I guess, more than 400 years of letter delivery. So PostNord said that the move reflects Denmark's rapid digitalization, noting that their letter volumes have fallen by over 90% in the past 25 years as demand shifts to parcels. And the company will cut, so we're hearing of more job cuts here, layoffs. They're going to be cutting 1,500 jobs, remove most red post boxes, and refund unused Danish stamps for a limited time. Letter delivery will continue through a private firm, which will expand its services from January, meaning that the people can still send mail. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to send letters, but it means that they're just going to be using a different service. Officials do say that the change is largely sentimental, but some experts do warn that it underscores how difficult it would be to return to physical post in an overwhelmingly digital society. If you think about that, it's kind of, it is worrisome because things can happen, you know, like emergencies, disasters, and then there might be times when you have to make a switch and it will make things difficult. At the same time, there is data that suggests that younger Danes are rediscovering letter writing as a conscious counterbalance to digital overload. So that this is something that I think the country will have to grapple with in the future.
What I found really interesting was that the post office, the post office of Denmark, they decided to sell their iconic post boxes.
Yes.
And it was sold for, I believe, about 2,000, is it Danish kroner?
Yeah.
So that's about 45만 원
Yeah.
in our currency. And within just 3 hours,
It was
so
gone.
many of these were sold. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just imagine having a souvenir, a memorabilia of an old Danish postbox in your garden
Yeah.
or in your house. That would be really cool.
It would be cool, but then and then the story kind of remind me of how we used to have phone booths,
oh, yes.
and we don't use them anymore.
yeah, you can still find some
Yeah, I do see them,
around.
yeah.
And they're operating too.
Yeah.
But not very many.
Because do you carry coins around? Do you carry cards around? I wonder. So because I haven't used them before,
Yeah.
I wonder if you can use like a credit card or how you can actually use it.
I'll have
Yeah.
to check. 자, 그래요. 덴마크에서 이렇게 한 400년 동안 이용되어 온 우편 배달 서비스가 올해 말부로 종료가 됩니다. 그런데요, 이 우체통 요것을 이제 한 1,000개 정도 사람들에게 기념품으로 직접 혹시 소장하고 계시고 싶으신 분들이 있다면 판매하겠습니다라고 발표를 하고 판매 시작한 지 3시간 만에 1,000개가 다 팔렸대요. 근데 우리 돈으로 아까 얘기한 것처럼 한 45만 원 정도씩이어서 꽤 큰 돈임에도 불구하고 이제 너무나 많은 걸 상징하잖아요.
Yes.
400년의
History.
우체부, 우정부의 그런
Writing letters.
역사와 그렇죠. 또 얼마나 예뻐요?
Yes.
집이 좀 공간이 된다면은 덴마크에 사시는 분들도 정말 가지고 싶었을 것 같다는 생각이 드는데, 네, 그랬답니다. Right, so this ends a tradition.
Yeah. When you say something ends a tradition, it means you are, I guess it's the act of intentionally or due to changing circumstances, discontinuing a long established or inherited custom, practice, or belief system.
오랜 전통을 끝내다, to end a tradition. And what about digitalization?
Digitalization, it can be spelled with an S or a Z in Zation. And it's the broad process of using digital technologies to change how organizations, companies operate, create value. So it's the strategic adoption of digital technology to kind of reimagine and optimize different processes, products, and services.
Exactly. In America, you spell it with a Z.
Yes.
In the UK, you spell it with an S. But the pronunciation is still
the same.
The same.
Yeah.
Digitalization. 디지털화. Okay, here's the headline again. Denmark's postal service will deliver its final letter on December 30th, ending over 400 years of tradition amid the country's increasing digitalization and a more than 90% drop in letter sending over the past 25 years. Here's our next headline.
A German paraplegic engineer has become the first wheelchair user to travel to space after boarding an Amazon-owned Blue Origin capsule with 5 other passengers on a 10-minute suborbital flight.
하반신 마비 장애인인 독일 출신 엔지니어가 아마존 우주기업 블루 오리진 우주선에 다른 승객 5명과 함께 탑승해 10분 동안 준궤도 비행을 마치고 돌아옴으로써 휠체어 이용자로서는 사상 처음으로 우주 비행에 성공하는 기록을 세웠습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so this mission, it was launched in West Texas over the weekend, and it was Michaela Benthaus, who is 33 years old and who has been paralyzed due to a mountain bike accident 7 years ago. So she was able to experience several minutes of weightlessness after the capsule soared more than 105 kilometers above Earth. Blue Origin says only minor modifications were needed, including a transfer board and ground support to ensure accessibility. Benthouse called the 10-minute flight the coolest experience and said she laughed throughout the ascent. She flew with 5 other passengers, including former SpaceX executive who helped sponsor this trip. And she says that she hopes her flight opens the door to greater inclusions in space and on Earth.
Yeah. So when you say she's paraplegic, that means she's paralyzed from the waist down.
Yes.
하반신마비, 이게 paraplegic가 되겠습니다. P-A-R-A-P-L-E-G-I-C. Now let's have a look at the verb to board.
Yes, to board. We hear this a lot when we go to the airport.
Yeah.
We're calling someone who needs to board so and so, but it means to get on or into. It can be an aircraft, but it can also be a ship or any other vehicle like this spacecraft.
Yep, exactly. So that's why the ticket is called a boarding pass.
Yes.
탑승하다, to board. B-O-A-R-D. Now, what about suborbital flight?
Suborbital flight. So this is it's a space flight that goes high enough to reach outer space but doesn't achieve enough horizontal speed to stay in orbit.
준궤도 비행이 되겠습니다. 자, 그래서 휠체어 이용자로서는 사상 처음으로 이렇게 우주 비행에 성공한 벤트하우스라는 사람의 이야기를 전해드렸고요. 이 우주 비행은 준궤도 비행이었습니다. Here's the headline one more time. A German paraplegic engineer has become the first wheelchair user to travel to space after boarding an Amazon-owned Blue Origin capsule with 5 other passengers on a 10-minute suborbital flight. Let's move on to the next headline.
Elusive street artist Banksy has confirmed via social media that he is behind a new mural depicting 2 children in winter clothing lying on the ground on a wall above a row of garages in West London.
얼굴 없는 예술가로 불리는 영국의 그래피티 화가 뱅크시가 런던 서부의 차고 건물들 위에 그려진 벽화가 자신의 작품임을 소셜미디어를 통해 확인했습니다. 이 벽화는 겨울옷을 입은 2 어린이가 바닥에 누워 하늘을 보는 장면을 담고 있습니다. A lot of articles in English say it's very poignant. 굉장히 짠하다 이렇게 표현을 많이 해요. Because it's Christmas time and normally we think of families gathering together, but this picture is just 2 children.
Yep.
And it's cold, but they're just lying on the floor
Yeah.
looking up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad in a way. But it's, I guess, a nod to homeless children.
Yeah, I think that's how some artists or they're interpreting it. But art is, I guess it depends on how you interpret it.
Yeah.
And he hasn't come out and publicly said anything or explained the meaning behind this mural.
Well, he doesn't
or
do interviews.
He never. He never does. But he has come out and said that this is him. So he said that he is behind this new mural that appeared in Bayswater, West London. As you mentioned, it shows 2 children. They're wearing winter clothing. They're lying on the ground and they're pointing to the sky. And it's painted above these garages in Queen's Mews. It was revealed after he posted an image. Well, actually, we don't know if it's a he or she, right? We don't
think
know
it's a
anything.
he.
Yeah,
I
but we
think
don't
it is-
know
right,
anything
right.
about this artist. But he posted on his Instagram that it's there. And an identical mural also appeared near the Centrepoint Tower in central London, although only the Bayswater piece has been officially confirmed by the artist's representatives. And as you mentioned, artists and Banksy's followers say that the work appears to comment on child homelessness, particularly, I guess, because, it was painted during the Christmas season when we think about family. But like I said, he hasn't come out and publicly explained what the meaning is behind it.
그래요. 자, 찾아보시면은 금방 뜰 겁니다. 인터넷에 지금 많이 올라와 있는 그림인데요. 가장 최근에 그린 그림을 뱅크시가 소셜미디어를 통해서 이제 자신이 그렸다라는 것을 암시를 했어요. 사실 뱅크시는 이제 뱅크시라는 예명으로 활동을 하지만 실제로 누군지 밝혀지지 않는 게 그 브랜드 이미지에서 가장 중요한 부분이기도 하고 또 이제는 사람들이 좀 덜 궁금해하는 것 같아요. 그냥
It's
뱅시라는 것
just Banksy,
자체로
yeah.
그렇게 그냥 인정을 하고 받아들이는 것 같은데 굉장히 비밀에 쌓여 있죠. 이 아티스트의 실제 그 존재, 실제 그 뭐랄까요, his identity,
Yeah,
who he
yeah.
is. 뭐 그리고 같이 팀과 함께 움직이는 것으로 잘 알려져 있고요. 혼자 이렇게 비밀스럽게 할 수는 없을 것 같아요. 그런데 철저하게 베일에 가려진 그런 아티스트입니다. 근데 그의 작품들은 항상 이렇게 사회적인 메시지를 담고 있어요. 그것으로 또 굉장히 유명한데 한동안에는 우크라이나에도 뱅시의 그림들이 또 나타나기도 했었고 그런 식으로. 자, 표현을 좀 볼게요. Banksy is an elusive artist.
Right. So we talked a little bit about how his identity is kept hidden.
Yep.
And that's exactly what elusive means. It means he's difficult to find, it's difficult to catch, or it's something that's difficult to achieve can also be elusive. Like the championship might be difficult to achieve, then you can say that it's an elusive championship or elusive trophy.
정체를 알기 힘든, 찾기 힘들다. 이럴 때 elusive. 그다음에 목표, 뭐 메달 같은 것을 이것을 잡기가 힘들다. 달성하기 힘들다. 이런 뜻으로도 많이 씁니다.
Yep.
Well, who is behind this artwork? We don't know.
We don't
Let's
know.
have a look at the expression to be behind something.
Yeah, when something or someone is behind something, it means that they are responsible for starting or developing or causing something.
네, 배후에 있다라고 할 때 someone is behind it라고 얘기를 하죠. 한국에서도 우리 뱅시 전시회도 있었고요. 제가 놓쳤거든요. 꼭 가보고 싶었었는데, 네, 뭐 너무나 잘 알려진 스트리트 아티스트죠. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Elusive street artist Banksy has confirmed via social media that he is behind a new mural depicting two children in winter clothing lying on the ground on a wall above a row of garages in West London. Well, that's it for the headlines this morning.
The first sunrise of 2026 will appear over Korea's easternmost islets of Dokdo at 7:26 a.m., according to the Korea Astronomy and Space Science Institute, before spreading inland across the rest of the country.
한국천문연구원은 2026년 새해 첫 일출이 우리나라 최동단 독도에서 오전 7시 26분부터 관측 가능하며 이후 시간부터 내륙 지방에서도 해를 볼 수 있을 것으로 전망했습니다. Alright, so just about a week from now, in fact, just exactly a week from now, it's going to be New Year's Day. And the first sunrise will be visible from Dokdo at 7:26.
7:26 a.m. this time around, and it'll be on the mainland at 7:31 in Ulsan. And meanwhile, the final sunset of 2025, so that'll be next Wednesday evening. That'll head down on the South Jeolla province at 5:40 p.m. on the mainland, and the last sunset will be seen in Jindo at 5:35 p.m.
그래요. 이제 7시 26분 독도에서 일출을 먼저 보는 것을 시작으로 해서요. 그 다음에 서울에서는 대략적으로 7시 반 정도, 7시 35분인가요? I don't remember the exact time for Seoul. 지금 바로 찾아서 알려드리겠습니다. 7시 반쯤에 이제 서울에서 관측이 될 것으로 보여집니다. 그 다음에 이제 진도에서는 또 5시 35분이라고 아까 말씀을 해주셨죠?
Yeah, and these calculations are all relative to sea level. So technically speaking, because the Earth is curved, and if you were to climb a mountain on the morning, then you might actually see the sunrise a little bit earlier because
Yeah.
the horizon would change based on your elevation. So we're considering you to be as low as you can on sea level, but if you were up on Namsan Mountain or on, I don't know, Soraksan, then you would actually see the sunrise perhaps a little bit earlier.
그렇죠. 뭐 뭐 1, 2분 정도의 차이가 있을 수는 있습니다. 서울에서는 7시 47분에 해가 보일 것으로 지금 이렇게 전망이 되고 있습니다. 부산은 7시 32분, 대구 7시 36분, 인천 7시 48분. 이제 찾아보시면은 나오겠지만 대략적으로 7시 반 전후가 되겠는데요. 일출 챙겨보시는 분들은 굉장히 일찍 가서 기다리거든요. 그래서 아마 잘 보실 수 있을 것 같고 날씨가 좀 좋아야 될 텐데요. Sometimes it's cloudy and it's hard to see the sunrise, but if the weather's good enough, you should be able to see the first sun of the year. Now, the interesting thing is, this is a very Korean thing.
I know.
In Canada, in England, in the US, people don't really try to check the first sunrise of the year.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I think people will be indoors at a party, perhaps.
The night before, certainly.
The night before, and they'll say,
Yeah.
Happy New Year, as soon as midnight strikes. So it's not really about the sunrise, but about midnight and, turning over that new page on the calendar.
Yeah, in Vancouver, I don't know if they do this in other North American cities, but the one New Year's tradition that I remember in Vancouver is on New Year's Day every year, they would do something called a polar bear swim. And do they do that in England as well?
No. But in Korea, I think in some areas, maybe in Gangwon-do and Jeju-do, I think they have that.
Oh, okay,
So
so
you're going
you
into
take a
the-
plunge
Yes.
into the ocean for at least a moment. They do say that like a cold plunge is actually healthy for you, but considering if you are healthy enough to do so, by the way. But yeah, that's a Vancouver tradition that I don't remember seeing in Korea, but if
No.
perhaps some places do.
Maybe someone from Vancouver brought it here. I don't know. I'm not
Maybe.
sure. All right, let's have a look at the word easternmost.
Easternmost means the furthest east. So in Korea, of course, the Dokdo Islets are off the east coast of Korea. So if you consider what's the most eastern part of Korea, it would be the Dokdo Islets.
그렇죠? 그렇다면은 southernmost island는 우리나라에서 제주도가 되겠죠.
Yeah.
Of course, we have other smaller islands off of Jeju, but the big island at the southernmost tip of the Korean, not peninsula, but Korea is Jeju.
Yeah. And of course, northernmost, westernmost, I mean, we would use those in the same way. So we're talking about a location when we're using something most in terms of direction.
자, 최남단이면은 southernmost, 최동단이면은 easternmost라고 하는 겁니다. 그래서 이렇게 우리는 첫 해를 보러 가는 것이 하나의 문화인데 이게 굉장히 한국적이라는 거 조금 전에 또 말씀을 드렸어요. 서양에서는 이런 문화 자체가 없어요. 그래서 굉장히 신기하더라고요. 자, 그다음에 inland 한번 보겠습니다.
Inland is basically something that's in the land.
Yeah.
So it means that it's off the coast. So if you think of Korea, Korea is a peninsula, therefore it is surrounded by water on three sides. And anything along the coast, let's say Busan, Ulsan, places like that, it would be considered the coast. Whereas a city like Seoul would be considered inland because it is not on the coast, it is inside.
그렇죠. 내륙이라는 뜻이죠. Because of course the Dokdo Islets, those are not inland.
Yeah.
So the sun will gradually rise and people inland will be able to see it later on in the morning. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The first sunrise of 2026 will appear over Korea's easternmost islets of Dokdo at 7:26 a.m., according to the Korea Astronomy and Space Science Institute, before spreading inland across the rest of the country. Here's our next headline.
The price of gold has surged to a new record high, trading above $4,400 an ounce, while prices of other precious metals also rose markedly, underpinned by strong demand and supply constraints, according to analysts.
국제 금값이 온스당 4,400달러를 넘어서면서 사상 최고치를 경신한 가운데 다른 귀금속 가격도 높은 수요에 공급 부족이 겹치면서 눈에 띄게 상승했다고 애널리스트들이 분석했습니다. Okay, so gold prices still going up.
It is significantly, and analysts say that the rise is driven by expectations that the U.S. Federal Reserve will cut interest rates further in 2026, which typically boosts demand for gold as a bit of a safe haven or things that you can turn to when other assets are going down, like cash. You want to invest in something like gold.
Exactly. So when we talk about the price of gold, we say it's traded at a certain price. And during the day, the price changes. It goes
Yes.
up and down slightly. But overall, it was, of course, going up. Let's talk about the expression to trade, and more specifically, to trade above a certain price.
Yeah, it's trading above $4,400 an ounce. So that means that it's going to cost you more than that if you want to buy it. So when we say trading when it comes to the stock market, but what we're really saying is if you want to buy this, if you want to
Yeah.
purchase it, then that's how much you have to spend. Now, the reason we say trading is because, well, if you're buying, it also means that somebody else is selling. So buying and selling is the art of trading. So that's why we use it, because it is two different parties from based on perspective
Yeah.
on who you are. But the trading price, well, it is in this case above $4,400, so it is more than or higher than. It's just an amount that you have to pay.
네, 그렇습니다. 그러니까 이게 지금 미국 기준 월요일 날 장중 한때는 이제 금값이 온스당 4,400 달러를 넘어섰습니다. 그래서 그렇게 거래가 됐다라는 표현이 여기서 쓰이고 있어요. It was traded above $4,400. 자, 그다음에 이제 다른 precious metals, 이 금만 있는 게 아니라 뭐 은도 있고 뭐 플래티넘도 있고 뭐 많잖아요. 이런 것들도 they also rose markedly. That means noticeably. 눈에 띄게 굉장히 두드러지게 많이 올랐다. 이런 표현으로 markedly라는 표현도 나와 있고요. Let's also look at underpinned.
Underpinned is sort of, it could be a reason why something is
Yeah.
happening. And it's also kind of like a support, think of it
Yeah,
as. Because what is an underpin? Think of like when you're building a building, it's like the foundation. It's the stuff that goes under the ground that gives support to the taller thing above. I mean, you can literally think if you have a pin, like a needle, and you put it into the ground, then it's not just standing on the ground. There's a part of the needle or
Right.
the pin that is actually underground. So think of it in that way, where that is the support. That is what's holding everything in place, what you need to have the reason that it's actually standing. So in that way, it gives you some support as to how the building is standing, or support as to why something is happening.
그러니까 건물을 지을 때 그 아래 지지하고 있는 것들을 언더핀이라고 부르는군요. 이게 쇠로 만들어진 것들인데요. 이런 것들을 이제 언더핀이라고 하니까 이게 무슨 뜻이냐면은 뒷받침해 준다. 이런 의미가 되겠습니다. 근거가 된다. 즉 이래서 이럽니다. 이유가 뭔지 얘기할 때 underpinned by blah 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 라고 할 수 있겠죠. Strong demand and supply constraints, excuse me. 그러니까 높은 수요, 그러나 공급 부족. 이것이 이유가 된다고 합니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. The price of gold has surged to a new record high, trading above $4,400 an ounce, while prices of other precious metals also rose markedly, underpinned by strong demand and supply constraints, according to analysts.
Billboard has highlighted Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters as one of the most defining and culture-shaking music moments of 2025, citing how the animated K-pop inspired phenomenon dominated global charts and pop culture.
음악 전문지 빌보드가 2025년 대중문화를 정의한 가장 파격적인 음악적 순간 중 하나로 넷플릭스의 애니메이션 K-pop 데몬 헌터스를 꼽으면서 이 작품이 불러온 세계적인 돌풍이 각종 차트와 대중문화를 점령한 상황을 언급했습니다. Kaedehon, as we say in Korea, K-pop Demon Hunters, again being recognized for its impact, its influence? Tell us more.
Yeah, and of course, Billboard magazine or Billboard itself, it's known as one of the leaders of the music industry when it comes to just a presence.
Right.
And they have the music charts, of course, that we know, and of course, some of the songs from the movie, in particular, Golden, was on the Billboard chart #1 for a significant amount of time, and a lot of the other hits were in the top 10 for a long period of time as well. So its impact was definitely felt, and it was seen as one of the biggest moments of music this entire year.
Yeah. It says it was one of the most defining moments of 2025. What's a defining moment?
A defining moment can be seen as something that is perhaps very memorable or very significant. And you kind of see it as something that defines you or defines something. So if you think of the base word like a definition, like what's the meaning of a word, a definition of a word. So if you have for the year of 2025, well, if we could break it down, what's the meaning of music in 2025? Well, one of those things was the musical impact of K-pop Demon Hunters.
그렇죠. 정의하는 거를 defining이라고 하는데요. 정의하는 순간이라는 게 뭐냐면은 굉장히 결정적인 순간이다라는 의미예요. So a defining moment would be a very important moment, a critical moment. In 2025, there were several moments like that, but the emergence of K-pop Demon Hunters was definitely that. 특히 문화, 또 음악 분야에 있어서, 또 영화계에 있어서 굉장히 중요한 순간이 바로 이 캐대헌이 등장한 순간이었겠죠.
There was another Korean moment that they acknowledged as well,
Yeah?
which was BTS's full group reunion. Because, of course, BTS, the Korean idol group, was in the army for a couple of years. And the fact that they're actually getting back together, Billboard looked at that also and said, hey, this is also defining for 2025.
그러네요. BTS가 이제 다 제대하고 다시 결성한 그 순간도 빌보드가 봤을 때는 너무나 중요한 순간이다.
Yeah, a lot of people were worried that they were just going to do solo careers and not get back together. But the fact that they decided, no, we all decided we will get back together.
좋습니다. Let's have a look at something inspired.
Something inspired means it was looked at and kind of taken for ideas, or part of it was the reason for something else. And in this particular case, the K-pop inspired phenomenon. So it was through K-pop that this movie or animation was created. So part of the idea was because of K-pop.
Yeah, exactly. 무엇에서 영감을 받았다. Something inspired. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Billboard has highlighted Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters as one of the most defining and culture-shaking music moments of 2025, citing how the animated K-pop-inspired phenomenon dominated global charts and pop culture. Let's move on to the next headline.
Nepal has approved a landmark 5-year plan to clean up its mountains, including the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, aiming to curb waste through stricter monitoring and limits on the number of climbers.
네팔이 세계 최고봉 에베레스트 산을 비롯한 자국 산악지대 정화를 목표로 획기적인 5개년 계획을 추진합니다. 이에 따르면 네팔 당국은 현재 심각한 이들 산의 쓰레기 문제를 해결하기 위해 모니터링을 더 엄격하게 하고 입산 등반객 수를 제한하는 등의 방법을 쓸 예정입니다. I'm sure enthusiastic mountaineers will want to climb Mount Everest once again or for the first time. And there's a lot of people who do that, and it's all very good, but the waste, again, we're talking about rubbish and trash, that's not great.
Yeah, the more humans that occupy a space, the more you're going to have garbage and things like that. So, they've had 13,000 climbers since 1953. That's first ascent. So it's a lot of people. And once again, the more people, you're going to see more plastic and human footprints.
Exactly. 그래요. 1900 아까 몇 년부터
1953.
1953년부터 지금까지 13,000명, 13,000 등반객들이 있었다라고 합니다. 사실 에베레스트 올라가는 것은 뭐 일생에 한 번 정도는 할까 말까 한 일이잖아요. 네, 물론 어떤 분들은 좀 더 여러 번 가기도 하지만. Let's have a look at the first expression, which is to curb something.
If you curb something, then you're sort of stopping something or trying to influence the stoppage of something. We think of, I think the place we hear this a lot is like curbing your appetite.
Yeah.
Meaning, you're trying to prevent you from wanting to eat more. If someone's trying to lose weight, then you might try to curb your appetite.
Exactly. 식욕을 억제해야 살이 빠지겠죠. 여러 가지가 있지만 운동 당연히 중요한데 운동만큼이나 식단이 중요하다고 다들 그러잖아요. 그래서 curbing your appetite.
Or any kind of a bad habit. People try to curb their, you want to try to curb your desire to smoke, as an
Okay.
example. For someone who's trying to quit smoking, you want help to curb your desire to do something like that.
네, 동사로서 curb는 무언가를 제한하다, 억제하다. Now, what about stricter monitoring?
Stricter, meaning that you're going to enforce it more strongly. And what are they enforcing? It's the monitoring. So you're watching something or kind of guarding against something to make sure that things are done properly.
그렇죠. 좀 더 엄격하게 감시한다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Nepal has approved a landmark 5-year plan to clean up its mountains, including the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, aiming to curb waste through stricter monitoring and limits on the number of climbers. Now here's our final headline.
A man in the UK has broken a Guinness World Record by singing a set of 38 Christmas songs 18 times over 42 hours straight, taking only 20-second breaks between each tune.
자, 영국의 한 남성이 최장시간 크리스마스 캐럴 이어서 부르기 기네스 세계 기록을 세웠습니다. 그는 이번 시도에서 곡 사이마다 20초씩 휴식 시간을 갖고 42시간 넘게 캐럴 38곡을 18번 반복해서 부른 것으로 알려졌습니다. 우리는 사실 이제 크리스마스 노래들을 좀 그냥 다 캐럴이라고 부르긴 하는데요. 한국에서는 영어에서 말하는 캐럴의 의미는 좀 달라요. If you say carols in English, I feel like it should be something sung by a choir or a group of people. It's more sort of rooted in the religious aspect of Christmas. So Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is not a carol.
No.
That's just a
yeah.
Christmas song.
Yes.
However, in Korea, we even call that a carol.
Oh, really?
So any Christmas song in Korea, people will just call it a carol. So Wham's Last Christmas, people say it's a carol. It's not really a carol. That's a
Yeah.
Christmas song.
Yes.
So there is a bit of a difference. In English, when we say carol, it should be something to do with the nativity scene, baby Jesus, or something that's just been around for a very long time. I think Jingle Bells, that's a carol.
I would say so.
There's nothing to do with
Christmas,
Christianity
yes.
in that song, but that's been around for maybe 100 years or more. It's a very old traditional song. So that's a carol. 그래요. 그래서 약간 구별이 되긴 하는데 어쨌든 영어 기준으로 좀 보게 되면은요. 이 남성이 부른 노래들은 다 크리스마스 songs인데요. 여기에는 팝송도 다 포함이 되어 있더라고요. 어떤 노래들이 있었고 좀 더 몇 곡 누구고 이런 얘기 좀 해주세요.
Yeah, like Last Christmas, as you mentioned, that was in there where,
Okay.
we would, like you mentioned, it really wouldn't be considered a Christmas carol.
No.
But Last Christmas was one of the songs that he sang. And continuously singing for 42 hours straight. He did say that he was hallucinating at times and almost stopped because of fatigue. But there was actually an audience that supported him and encouraged him, and that kind of got him through another 10 hours because he said around the 32-hour mark he thought about quitting, but the audience encouraged him, cheered him on, and I guess that kind of helped wake him up.
How old was this person?
63 years
63.
old.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And do we know where he sang this song?
It was in England,
Okay,
I want to
okay.
say. So, yeah.
And I guess he was surrounded by supporters and family and friends.
I would
Must have
imagine,
been.
yeah.
그렇군요. 63세의 데이브 퍼추스라는 남성입니다. 영국 남자고요. 42시간 동안 노래를 불렀는데 32시간쯤에 포기할 뻔했대요. 그때 너무 피곤하기도 했고 지쳐가지고 좀 그냥 그만둘까 싶었는데 주변에서 응원을 너무 열심히 해줘가지고 10시간을 더 했답니다. 대단하네요.
Yeah, he was also allowed 5-minute breaks
Oh, okay.
per hour. So for each 1 hour, he had a 5-minute break. But beyond that,
20-second breaks.
Yeah, 20-second breaks between songs.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Because you got to be hydrated as
맞아요.
well, right? You're going to get thirsty. Imagine if you're singing.
화장실도 가게 될 것
Yeah,
같고
yeah.
그렇잖아요. 그래서 노래마다 중간중간 20초씩 쉰 건 맞는데 1시간마다 한 번씩은 5분 동안 쉬게 해줬대요. 그래도 어쨌든 42시간 동안 쭉 노래를 불렀고 Jingle Bells, Last Christmas처럼 그냥 잘 알려진 크리스마스 노래들 팝송을 포함해서 총 몇 곡 부른 거예요? 684번 부른 거죠. 반복적으로 부른 노래들도 있으니까. 아유, 대단하네요.
To know all the song, all the words. I
Yeah.
guess, well, maybe
Yeah.
he's had paper, the words maybe.
Okay, so these were Christmas songs, a set of 38 songs, 18 times.
Yeah, a set is like we're talking about numbers, how many of something that you have. And if you have a set of something, it's like a group of something. But we're talking about a number when we're talking about a set.
그래요. A set of something, 뭐 한 세트라는 의미가 되겠죠. 그래서 38곡이 한 세트라고 볼 수 있겠고 그거를 18번 반복해서 불러가지고 총 684곡을 불렀다라고 볼 수 있겠어요. 자, 그 다음에는 taking breaks. Take a break.
Yeah, taking a 20-second break. It's a moment that you're resting. So a moment that you are not doing what you were doing. So it's an opportunity to rest or to not do what you were doing the whole time.
그죠? 휴식을 취하다 할 때 동사 take를 씁니다. 너무나 유용한 동사라는 거 우리 모닝 스페셜 청취자분들은 잘 아실 거예요. 시험을 보다 할 때도 take an exam. 수업을 듣다 take a class. 그다음에 쉬다 take a break. 이런 식으로 take 동사가 참 많이 쓰이죠. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A man in the UK has broken a Guinness World Record by singing a set of 38 Christmas songs 18 times, over 42 hours straight, taking only 20-second breaks between each tune. All right, well, that's it for the headlines this morning.